This is called God, Did I Die and Come Back to Life? Almost 40 years ago, I moved to Fresno, sight unseen. I lived in Greendale, Wisconsin for 11 years, from the ages 11 to 22, and went through many changes. From going to school with disabled children to mainstreaming at 14. Moved in the dorms at Fresno State. My friend Timothy from Milwaukee had CP, and people in the dorms kept confusing us. So I smoked weed again to try to fit in. It had been a few years. Big deal was drinking beer and smoking pot in the dorms. Hell, drinking was 18 when I was a kid, and I smoked weed and drank like 8 years earlier. It was not a big thing. I smoked weed with the guy, and it turns out it was angel dust. The asshole didn't tell me until after we were done. I was friends with an RA named Don Landers in his 40s, a linguistics student working on his master's. He had an IQ of 160, and we ate and hung out all the time. He was disappointed what I had done, but I was going through, all I was trying to do was keep from passing out when I was talking to him. Moved out of the dorms and went into an apartment. One of my new roommates was an ex-heroin addict and got busted for selling 2 pounds of weed in Florida. He was on probation and worked out a deal where he could attend Fresno State. One day he went to Bakersfield and came back, and we had another roommate without my asking me. They were playing one frisbee one day, and after I was feeling so alone, so I took a few hits off a joint. I felt so alone I could die. I missed my family and friends, and the people here seem so juvenile, getting high and bitching about farming and politics back then in the 1970s. I went to my room and laid down in my bed. I saw a light in my sleep, and I felt drawn to it. I was scared, but my energy went towards it. I let myself go and went through a bright light. I was no longer afraid. Then there was a peace I had never known before in my life. I had no worries and everything seemed right. I turned my energy towards my bed and saw myself laying there sleeping. I was only 23 at the time. I thought, should I stay here or should I go back to my body? I asked if I could go back and show that living disabled life was not as bad as people thought. I felt like I was communing with God or an angel or something. I chose to go back, but when I woke up, my heart was beating really fast. I was soaking wet from sweating. What a trip! Was it a dream, or did it happen? If I shared my story with others, it would make people uncomfortable and freak them out, so I didn't talk about it much. It was about this time I found out my mom, Joy Waddell, had cancer. I had met Robot, a man in his 50s. I also inherited a few dollars. He helped me spend it. One of my roommates' sister had ratted out the mob on bookkeeping and was in witness protection, and she came to visit us back then. Robot also took me to the coast, and we would drive in a van 100 miles an hour that a van he bought for me, but it would never be mine because it had a shift. I was smoking an ounce of weed a day and doing a little bit of coke, but I knew it would be bad for me, so I only did the coke once or twice. Some people at the coast had guns, and they would protect their property and their cash crop. Robot thought I should have sex with his girlfriend, and he made it happen. And he would be there and whenever, most of the time when we did, and watch us. If he left town for a few days, she would also stay with me. She was a nymph and controlled by cocaine. My mother met Robot with a relative from Lindsay. After my mom left, Robot said, "Your mom should have sex with another man other than your dad, but I will leave her alone." "That's damn right you will." Robot also told me about a place where they sacrificed people once a year. It was a spiritual thing. I don't know where it was, but it really was scary and freaked me out. Once we watched the news and there was a dead body, I looked at him and he looked at me and said, "Brother, all you have to do is ask for it and you get it." I was really high and smiled and laughed back, but he'd just say, I smiled and laughed. I looked back at me and I thought, did he just say he might kill me? Now, my mother was dying of cancer, and I went in the backyard and I thought, God, I made my bed. If I lose my bed, please keep mother and my father and family safe. I was bragging about my friends being musicians and playing their music all the time. I wanted to keep them safe and everybody I knew and loved safe. I didn't know if he'd gotten into my address book. Also, many people who have had mind control used on them, like I did, also love or care about their abuser. I did too at this time. I knew he was twisted, and in his own way he loved me. I saw him beat up a biker and pickpocket people. He said he would tell men to have sex with me, and I told him I didn't want slaves or force people to do things against their will. I had sex with his girlfriend to keep him happy. Think about it. If you're straight and someone's forcing you to have sex, it would be like you having gay sex with somebody and somebody forcing you to and watching you. Hey, I was 23 years old and made some bad choices, but I was also young. I wondered if Robot was an undercover cop, CIA, FBI, or playing both sides. Of course, I wondered if he was a mob shark, which over the years I have run into a few people, maybe undercover cops acting as sharks, or maybe they were actually sharks. I have met many different people in my life, and many cast of characters in my life so far. So if you want to roll your eyes and say, when I say I believe in God, but not like a conservative Christian, right, please feel free to do so. If God or something greater than me does not exist, then I am just a freak of nature. Why live or why be kind to others? If God does not exist, then justice is also made up by the majority of people or a group of people. Arguing about faith is stupid to me. And if I didn't have faith, I might have checked out years ago. Sit in my wheelchair, look at the world through my eyes, not just your eyes and my TV eyes in this life. I do not feel guilty or ashamed about my experiences with Robot. I saw a lot of good in him and a lot of bad. And I believe it helped me quit drugs and helped make me the person I am today. Why tell my story? Because everybody has a story. And a year after I gave him the van, he was shot and killed in the coast. So a lot of times we make judgments on people, or people say things, and we really don't know the whole story. So look deeper or look beyond just what we think we know about people. Peace and love. Have a good day.